Hi everyone, it's Debbie here from emotionallysensitive.com, utilizing this really cool new feature on Facebook of live streaming. So I don't know how many people are actually going to know that I'm on live and show up, but we'll see what happens. And there's also the ability to comment underneath. And if you're not watching this live, which it is Friday, April 1st at about 5:20 p.m. Pacific time in California right now. If you're watching this after the fact and watching it on video, you can still comment below and I can still get back to you. So hello, how is everyone doing? And if you can comment, if you have the ability to comment on the device that you're on, let me know that you're here and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I know it can be hard on the phone. It's like, how do I comment while I'm doing it? But I'm actually streaming this from a tablet, so it's all about learning about the technology and how to use it. So anyhow, I thought I'd come on, I had a moment of inspiration, and instead of going through the trouble of recording a video, processing it, uploading it, I said, let me just try going on live and see who's here, and we can actually engage in real time, which is so cool, don't you think? So, all right, this weekend, I would love it if we could all commit to doing at least one self-care thing. Just one. If you want to commit to doing more, that's awesome. But for a lot of people, not everyone, but for a lot of people, it's hard to just make the decision. One of my cats is yelling in the background saying, you better take care of yourselves. But it can be really hard to make the decision to do something for yourself. And there are a lot of reasons for that. You know, for some people, you might have a lot of responsibility going on. You might have children to take care of, a job to do, a house to take care of, cleaning, shopping, all that stuff, and stuff I can't even imagine and think of. And then we have people who are just going through a lot right now who may not be in touch with the fact that we deserve to take care of ourselves and we deserve to do little kind things for ourselves. So either we grew up not believing that or not being taught that, or we've gotten these messages over time that we should just put ourselves on the back burner, you know, and everything else comes first. But if you're one of those people, and I definitely used to be that way, and when I'm under a lot of stress and I have a lot of pressure and a lot of deadlines, I certainly get into that mode too, of just thinking, no, I can't stop. I don't have time to slow down. I can't just sit and make myself a cup of tea or sit and watch like 3 hours of Netflix or whatever. This has to be done. That has to be done. This one's counting on me. This has to happen. Or there have been times when I was dealing with depression or anxiety or emotions that were either really slowing me down or really hyping me up to where it was really hard for me to be effective, let alone think to slow down and take care of myself and do something kind for myself. And then there's this other potential obstacle where people think that they have to have this big budget and spend all kinds of money in order to do something kind for themselves. And that's not true either. So if you have a little extra money in your budget and what you like to do is go to Starbucks and have your favorite drink and maybe sit out in the sun or sit under a protected area if it's raining where you live, or if it's snowing, maybe you sit inside and just sip on your favorite drink. If you have the extra funds to treat yourself to something like that, awesome, right? Go for it. But if you don't, what are some things that you can do this weekend around the house or around the apartment or wherever you're staying right now to treat yourself a little, to take care of yourself? Look through the cupboard, see if you have some tea packets, look and see you know, if you have cable, if you have access to Netflix or things like that, what can you get up on the queue? Oh, yes. Pickertine says, walk in nature. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And she says, she or he, I'm imagining it's a woman, please correct me if I'm wrong, is also saying walk on the beach. Thank you. Sometimes I'm thinking of being at home, but there are things that we can do that usually don't cost very much money except maybe the gas to get to the location, or maybe you can walk there or take public transportation. But yes, walking in nature, or if you live in the city or you live in a town, just getting up and walking and people watching, right? Doing something that doesn't feel like work, that's going to restore and recharge you and allow you to relax is not gluttonous. It's not selfish. Even if you do have a lot of responsibilities, even if you do have a lot of deadlines, because I think those of us who have been there, this is where I was going before, who tell ourselves and believe that we can't and we have to put ourselves on the back burner. We have to keep going and accomplishing or taking care of things or retreating because we don't deserve it. It doesn't work in the long run, because we end up, getting really overwhelmed, and our emotions can get really intense because we're not taking the time to slow down and take care of ourselves and take those breaks and do little kind things for ourselves. And it will feel, for a lot of people, it will feel really awkward at first, and you're going to be like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. The kids are waiting for this, the kids are waiting for that, my boss is waiting for this, or the house is a mess, or whatever it might be. It may feel a little awkward, and then you have to say, no, I said I'm going to go to the beach and take a walk, so I'm going. It might just be for 10 minutes, and I might take a couple of nice pictures of the waves and post them on Facebook or do whatever. But even though it feels a little uncomfortable, I'm choosing to take care of myself, and I'm going to follow through. And then we do it, and then it gets a little easier each time. We feel a little less guilty each time that we push through that. Some more lovely suggestions. Thank you for commenting, Picatine. Anybody that's watching, if you'd like to comment, I would love to see what your ideas are too. So Picatine says, watch a sunset. Yes, another free thing to do. Watch the stars at night, right? If you have a good clear view. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so a lot of times it's foggy. A lot of times I don't have the pleasure of seeing the beautiful stars in the sky. So if you have that, do it. I will tell you that one thing I did to be kind to myself, and this was a couple of years ago, but I still have it, and it makes me feel like a child a little bit at night, is I put up those glow-in-the-dark stars up on the ceiling in my bedroom. And so as long as I turn the light on a few minutes before I'm going to bed, I just turn the light off right when I get in, and the stars stay lit for a few minutes, and I kind of like look at them until I get really sleepy and close my eyes. But that's like a little thing, a little treat, and you can get those at Toys R Us. You can get like a bag of them for maybe $5 or something like that. And I realize that can be a lot depending on your budget, but it's something you can say, okay, well, next week when I get paid or whatever, I'm going to get one of those little bags of stars. It doesn't have to be this huge thing or this expensive thing, right? Okay, more ideas coming in from Picatine. Buy someone a flower just because they are nice. You have lots. I am expecting you're going to have an awesome time this weekend, not only taking care of yourself, because Picatine, you're mentioning things that you can do that are good for you, that can be self-soothing and make you feel good and make you smile and make you feel good inside. But also some of the things that you're mentioning are ways that you can touch other people's lives and help them to feel a little bit better, and that's always awesome. I would say also we should be thinking about, or I would encourage people to be thinking about not feeling so self-centered if you just want to do a little something for yourself. So I use the example of tea. So I love having herbal tea. I don't really do very well with caffeine or sugar, and being emotionally sensitive, I'm just really aware of that. And so I have lots of different packets of herbal decaf teas, like a peppermint one, a ginger one, a chai one, and then I recently got into loose leaf teas. So if I sit down and I slowly and mindfully make myself some tea and watch that whole process and smell it in the air and put it into a nice warm cozy mug and curl up on the couch with the tea and a blanket and either watch something or read something, no one else is likely to benefit from that. And that can feel uncomfortable for some people. Some of us might say, okay, well, this is all about me and I just feel weird. It's not like some of these suggestions that Picatine is making in the comments about, I'm going to get a flower and give it to someone. I'm going to say hi to 7 people. I'm going to do this, right? Which is also okay. If that's part of your self-care, that can be a good place to start, to set goals where you're doing something for yourself, but you also feel good because it's benefiting someone else. But the big challenge this weekend is to, even if it's just 4 to 5 minutes, finding something you can do to nurture and take care of yourself, to give you some time to slow down, to give you some time to decompress, to give you some time to put some space between yourself and all the responsibilities that you have, or all of the emotional turmoil or different challenges and difficult situations you're dealing with right now, to show yourself some self-love, some compassion, some nurturing. I know it can be really hard. And then there are some of us who say, okay, I've done a lot of self-soothing today. I've done this, this, and this. Now I need to get back to work, or now I need to do this. So believe it or not, it can go that way after a long time of practicing. I don't know, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but ooh, and Picatine's talking about too, if you're going the route of transitioning into doing things for yourself that don't involve other people, but you're still doing something that involves other people, that she's suggesting you can pay for someone, the next person in the drive-through or the coffee line, or all of that. And yes, it's about, I'm reading comments down there if you wonder why I'm looking down, but slowing down the pace, that's what it is. And starting to really reinforce for ourselves, remind ourselves, and start practicing and reinforce for ourselves that we are worthy of our own care, that we have to take care of ourselves before we can do all of these things we want to do in life, and before we want to accomplish all of these things and make these changes and start to get healthier in all sorts of ways, and to have the relationships that we want, and to be good in relationships, or be good parents, or be good employees or bosses, or whatever it might be. It seems so simple, and on some levels it is, but it's really challenging to sometimes put ourselves first and take care of ourselves. And so I was just thinking about this right now, because I've been kind of go this week and doing quite a bit, and stretching myself in different directions, and I really helped someone else out the other day. I have a friend, she's an older lady, and she needed help on the computer, and so I spent several hours helping her with something on her computer, and the time went by so fast, because I was like, you know, when you get in the zone and you're on the computer, and it's just like, oh my gosh, 3 hours went by. And I did that, and I did some other things this week where it was giving, you know, so extending. And even something like this right now, it's giving, it's extending, but I feel more recharged from this, because I know you guys really appreciate it, and you get so much out of it, and you give feedback. So they're, not to say my friend didn't, but I was thinking too, what can I do that doesn't involve running around, that doesn't involve getting stuck in traffic, that doesn't involve being in big crowds, so that making myself a really nice little tea thing was one of them. And I wanted to look at some artistic things online. I follow some certain people that do really cool pop surrealism, so I thought looking at that would be cool, listening to music, maybe sleeping in a little bit tomorrow. So I have some ideas, so I'm looking forward to hearing yours. And yes, awesome, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to using this Facebook Live in the future, maybe for other topics that I sometimes do the pre-recorded videos for. And maybe it will help to announce it in advance so you guys know about it. If you're watching this video and you're either live or watching the replay, I think there's a button somewhere that you can actually click that's subscribe. Maybe it happens when you minimize the video after you watch it, so that it pops up at the top every time. Oh, Debbie of DBT Path is online. And I look forward to spending time with you guys in this way, and being of service, and being a support, and interacting with you. Hopefully more of us will figure out how to put comments in the chat box. Hi, Allison. Oh, she says, love this. Thank you. You're very welcome. Oh, it's so nice to see another person typing in the chat, because I can see we have viewers, but only one person. Miss Picatine was actually writing, and she's talking to her friend Jocelyn too, telling her to take notes. I love it. Isn't this neat, you guys? I don't mean to get too crazy with being so impressed by technology and getting carried away with it, but the fact that we can do this live and interact, and I can take your questions and I can respond to your comments. I mean, I know it's old news and whatever, right? But to me, it's just like, oh my God, this is so exciting, you know? I just realized I could do this on Facebook. Allison says she's missed me. I've missed you too, Allison. Isn't this wonderful that we can connect here? Very cool. Hi, Shauna. You're very welcome. Shauna is thanking me for my posts. I'm so glad you find them helpful. They're always coming from the heart, usually from a lot of personal experience and pain. But I don't regret any of it because I feel like I believe that, it's been shown to be true that the things that I have been through, and not everyone would appreciate this or take this perspective, but it works for me. All of the things I've been through in my life, from homelessness to severe mental illness to being in and out of psychiatric hospitals to going through a divorce to not being able to keep a job for so many years to it taking me over 10 years to graduate with my bachelor's to just not being able to have friends. I mean, there are so many things that I've been through in my life because of borderline personality disorder and because of just, choices that my parents made and the way my life turned out that could have taken me down like so many times or led me down a path that could have been extremely self-destructive. Not to say that I wasn't on one, because I was, but it could have been a lot worse, right? Thank God it wasn't. And all of those experiences now allow me to connect and relate and support and encourage because I was able to move through them and become a stronger person. So when I see you guys suffering with certain things and you think you're the only one and you think that, you carry this shame and you think that there's no way this particular XYZ thing could get better, I see you guys making comments like that, whether it's here on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and I want to jump right in and say, you know what? Please let me encourage you because I was there 5 years ago, or I was there when I was your age, or whatever it might be. And this is what I did, or this is how I worked through this, or here's part of my story. And so there's a purpose to it. So one person suffering in these different areas able to encourage and support and help with the internet, especially potentially hundreds or thousands of people. It may sound really weird, but I consider it a gift that I was able to go through some things, work through them, come out through the other side, and now be able to do something like this with you guys. It's just like life is amazing in that way. Oh, there are more comments coming in. Crystal says, I saw live and I was like, yay, I found you a bit ago. Yay, I'm so glad you found me, Crystal, and that you came on to see the live feed here. Becky says, appreciate you are the real deal. Thank you, Becky. Yes, you don't know how many times I think about, oh my gosh, I should delete those old videos on YouTube, where I was like really in the pit and just still having a hard time with BPD symptoms and still didn't really know who I was. Like, it's uncomfortable sometimes for me to watch those videos when I was having the identity problems and I was still kind of like manipulative and I could just sense that about myself and remember those things about myself. But I know that video is going to help someone, and I leave it up and like a month later someone says, oh my God, I found this video. I felt so alone. I never thought anyone thought this way and I thought I was doomed, and now I see you're doing better. So it's like, okay, I'm glad I didn't delete that. Or a blog post that was really vulnerable, because I don't claim to be perfect and I don't claim to be all well and to have no problems and to be skillful 100% of the time. I would never do that. It wouldn't be fair to you. It would be ridiculous because it's impossible. So I do, Becky, try to keep it real and be authentic and just be myself. And now that I know who I am, work through my identity stuff and be a little vulnerable and be very honest about where I am and what my limitations are too, and what I'm still working on, and when I have challenges, because I think it's helpful for you to see the real deal when someone's in recovery. It's not all, I like to say, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are still challenges, and I get it, and I get the stuff that happened early on too, that people who were really suffering now are going through. I was going to wrap this up, but lots of comments have been coming in, so I'm going to address those. Let's see. Yes, I knew you saw me, Crystal. And then Emily says, you've come so far. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Emily. How are you? Good to see you here. Yeah, it's a journey, and I hope to continue to keep going far and being a source of support and encouragement. So does anyone have any other questions or comments before I wrap it up here? I'll give it a few seconds. I feel like this looks a little distorted. Like as I go back, I'll start to get weird. It's the angle that my tablet is at. I'm not used to doing live, and I'm a little nervous. Can you tell? I'm like, chatty, 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 chatty. Deep breaths. Allison says, there are challenges, and DBT has saved my life. Oh, me too. She says it really has, and thanks to you for your help. Allison, you're so welcome. Yes. Allison's talking about DBT, which stands for Dialectical Behavior Therapy, which I know not all of you have been following my story from the beginning, but when I was finally diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, BPD, this treatment was offered to me, DBT, and it was what ultimately worked. And having a correct diagnosis was a pretty big start because, you know, I was being treated and taking all these, going to all these groups and taking medications and going to therapy and stuff to try to address what was going on with me, which was partly PTSD or complex PTSD, but nothing was really working. And so when I finally got my correct diagnosis, then they said, hey, you want to try this service or this group that we have called DBT. And so I did. And it, just like Allison is saying, it saved my life because I had told myself this has to work. I was like at the end of my rope and nothing else had really worked and had lasting effects. I said, this has to work. This just has to work. I won't even go into the details of here of what I was thinking outside of that, but you can imagine. And I just got so excited as I started doing it that I started blogging back in 2016. So after this, if you want, you can go look at healingfrombpd.com from like 2010 to present. And I was blogging about this, and I started getting followers, and I was shocked because I'm like, how are people even finding me? You know, I said, let me put this out there, and if one person on the planet comes across this on Google, I'm like page 20 of the results, and they look for BPD, that's cool, that's awesome, someone will feel less alone, right? And it turned into this thing where it's been, we're at over 2 million views now, and people started asking for more information. That's when I self-published my 2 books on BPD and DBT, and then they wanted more, so that's when I started teaching my classes at emotionallysensitive.com that I teach live every week. And then I just signed a book deal last summer. I can't believe it. Like, I'm gonna have an actual physical book on the bookshelves, just like some of the people that I have really loved and admired, like Kira Van Gelder, who wrote The Buddha and the Borderline. It's like, I'm gonna have a book like that. It's crazy. And it all started from getting access to DBT, working the skills like nobody's business, sticking to it, just really like it became something I live and breathe and still use all day, every day to this day. And just like I'm the biggest cheerleader for it and teaching it to other people, including Miss Allison. And she says, do you still have your online groups? I do, Allison. Everything's moved over to emotionallysensitive.com. We do a 90-minute live DBT group once a week. I have a licensed therapist named Amanda Smith, who is also in recovery from borderline personality disorder. So she's co-facilitating, and so it's this really nice balance. And yeah, we have students from all over the world. It's just, it's I hope you can come back sometime. I think you'll be pleased to see the growth, and the classes are, I'll say they're intense from the perspective of there's a lot of content and a lot of good stuff in there. And because Amanda also had borderline personality disorder and is in recovery now and has BPD traits and is an emotionally sensitive person, to have a therapist in there that really gets it is also very helpful. Let's see. Becky says, I came on late but think this is a great vehicle to reach those struggling. Feels personal with the live Facebook version. Thank you. Isn't this so awesome? If you guys like this, I will think of ways to do more of them. If I can't come up with a topic, I might just ask you guys on Facebook and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing a live stream. What do you want to talk about? So I don't feel that pressure of what am I going to talk about when I get on there. It's so much easier when you plan it and you tape it and you post it. When you do it live, it's kind of like, is anyone going to show up? Are they going to interact with me? What do I talk about? So let's see. Hi, Shane. Shane says, I was diagnosed with BPD at age 38. Things sure started to make sense after that. Excellent. I'm so glad for you that you got your accurate diagnosis, Shane. And it tends to be that people get their diagnosis. Okay, so hear me out with this, because I don't want to turn anyone off who's like in their 20s or who's over their 30s, above their 30s. But it tends to be that people get that accurate diagnosis in the 30s when things start to slow down from the 20s. And it seems to be that that's around the age that people start to be able to, from my observation, there's no like clinical data or anything I'm referencing or anything like that, but it seems to be, from my observation, that age, that decade where people are like starting to be willing to look at that and to say, oh my gosh, I do have this serious thing going on. I need to change. I want to change. What can I do? I want to have my renaissance. I want to change my life. I want the rest of my life to be the best of my life. That being said, I was originally sort of diagnosed at 19, around 19, during a psychiatric inpatient. When I left, they said, rule out borderline personality disorder. And I got really scared by that. Sorry, I have to adjust. I didn't expect to be on here this long. I'm like stretching here. And I was so scared by that I never went back to that clinic. I never followed up on it. It wasn't until my early 30s that I got that diagnosis officially and I was ready to do something about it. And so part of my heart goes to people in their 30s also, because I can really relate, right? And part of my heart really goes to young people in their late teens through 30, because I know I can't save you from all your pain and all of the things that you have to go through on your journey and the lessons that you have to learn and the mistakes you have to make and all that. But for young people, I'm thinking all the time about, please listen, please listen to my videos. If you have a specific situation you're going through and you come across one of my blog posts or you come across one of my videos, my hope is that you might read that and say, oh my gosh, and not make the same mistakes that I did, or see that pattern and reach out to your therapist and say, hey, I watched this video and I see myself doing this and I don't want to be doing this for the next 10 years and destroying my life. What can I do now? And it's harder when you're in your 20s because of, it's different with your hormones and your energy and experience of the world so far, but you can get intervention, you can get help, you can start learning the skills, you can slow it down and not let it escalate and blow up into what it blew up into for me in my 30s, and for other people, maybe even Shane, who commented down below. And then I was just talking to someone about this today. There are women, and mostly women, but some men too, in their 50s and 60s, and most recently someone in their 70s who have signed up for my class because they've said, look, I've got my whole life putting everyone else first. I've dealt with this. Some of them have said they've been in denial, or they just never knew it was wrong, and then they came across my website and said, oh my gosh, this is it. Yeah, I'm emotionally sensitive. I think I have BPD traits, which verify that with a qualified mental health professional locally, talk to someone, and so you can get the treatment and the help that you need. But then after they do that, they come and they take the class and they're like, I feel so empowered. I'm like learning who I am. I'm taking care of myself. I'm managing my emotions. My marriage is getting better. And they're having this renaissance in their 50s and 60s. So that's why I said I don't want to alienate anyone by saying it seems like in the 30s is when people are mostly ready. That's just what I see as a DBT peer educator and an instructor and an emotional confidence guide over at emotionallysensitive.com. But Shane, yeah, so not uncommon from my experience with people that you were diagnosed at 38, and right, wasn't it a relief to have a name for this collection of symptoms and to say, okay, now I can have a sense of, I can find out what I can do to take care of myself and work through these things and get stronger and all of that. So that's awesome, Shane. Thank you for sharing. Allison says, oh my gosh, so happy for you, a book. Yes, I signed my book publishing deal last summer, and I never knew what a long process it is to be traditionally published because I've only self-published over the years. So my book will be out next spring, so not 2016, but 2017. I don't know. I'm hoping it maybe can come out sooner, but they have their timelines and all of these things they have to do. So I'll keep you posted, though. Just keep following me, Allison. I know you will, and I'll let you know when the book is out or coming out. Hi, Danielle. Danielle says, oh, please, please do more live stuff. It costs $9,000 in Australia to do 6 months of DBT. I did one round 3 years ago, can't afford more. That's partially... That's outrageous. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it's outrageous. That's a judgment. That can be really difficult and challenging for people. And it's part of why I do my classes too, is because, yes, there is a charge. Yes, there are costs associated with all of this. But I still like to think that it's one of the more affordable options out there, because if on the sliding scale, someone could pay $97 a month and have this class 90 minutes a week with myself and the licensed therapist. So that is a lot. That is a lot. And I will try to do more live stuff. This is my knowledge to you when I'm on here doing something like this or on YouTube or posting a video. It's like a gift from the heart because I want to help as many people as I can. So let's see. Allison says she's joining with my groups again. Thank you. Awesome. All right, Allison, we'll see you in class soon. Next one starts in June. Allison says she hadn't heard of DBT and wasn't diagnosed with BPD until 2013, and she was 55. And it's never too late. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. One of my star students right now is in her late 50s, if not early 60s. I forget exactly, and she would get really, I don't even know if she would get mad, but I'm not going to risk it if I said her first name. She's a big cheerleader on here and posts a lot on Facebook, so on my Facebook page here. Shane says, yes, Shane is the one who shared about getting the diagnosis at 38. You're welcome, Danielle. Okay, guys, anything else before I go? I can't believe this turned into 32 minutes and 32 seconds as of the last time I looked up there. I thought I was going to get on here for 5 minutes, like one person, maybe 2, 3 people would show up, and I'd be like, no comments. This is awkward. Okay, bye now. And this turned into something awesome. Thank you for your beautiful comments of gratitude. Thank you for being willing to connect with me, for taking time out of your day. Your time is precious and valuable. Maybe you consider our time together a little part of your self-care for this weekend. But will you guys do me a favor and please think of something you can do to take care of yourself this weekend that is just about you, and even if you have worries that it's selfish or that whatever, obstacles might come up mentally with thoughts and fears and all of that, would you please try to think of something you can do that's kind for yourself, just a little act of kindness, something you can give to yourself or something that you can do that'll allow you to relax, restore, rejuvenate, that's not about serving other people, that's not about doing something outwardly that is for someone else, but just a little thing, just for a few minutes, and then commit to it, and then maybe share with me what you end up deciding to do. And yes, it can be a 2-hour Netflix binge if that's what you need. And then that's what would feel good, to get on the couch and swaddle up with that blanket, like the picture of the pug that I posted earlier on Facebook. If that's what would make you feel good, to take a time out and do that, then that counts. It doesn't have to be anything like, oh, so amazing, this is what I did. No. Okay. I don't see any more comments coming in. Going once. Going twice. Thank you everyone for showing up, and I really do look forward to doing this again with you sometime. I'm pleasantly surprised. So awesome. Have a great weekend. Talk to you again soon. Bye for now.